Here we go. The DOJ has announced multiple indictments against a whistleblower who allegedly did the exact same thing that Hunter Biden did. There's a guy named Gail Luft. We've been talking about him for the last couple of days because he went missing. And now suddenly, Biden's Department of Justice has indicted this guy. For doing what? Oh, for FARA violations. What's a FARA violation, you might ask? Oh, it's when you act as an agent of a foreign government and take money from them in order to influence American policy. Exactly what the Bidens were doing. And where were they taking that money from? China. Where's Gail Luft taking his money from? China. Boom, baby. It ain't hard to connect the dots here. Joe Biden is putting in prison people that know his crimes. We have officially reached the tipping point in this country. We are officially over the edge. Okay, the tipping point is here. The dictatorship. The war on terror. We're gonna go fight Iraq and Afghanistan because they're dictatorships. Because Uday and Qusay Hussein can get away with literal murder, and everyone else lives by a different set of rules. We're that country now. They don't have free and fair elections. We're that country now. We're it. This is the red line, okay? Let's read. DOJ announces multiple indictments against whistleblower who alleged that Biden received payments from the Communist Chinese Party, an affiliated individual. And Gail Luft would know this because he also received payments from the Communist Chinese Party and the same oil company that the Bidens were doing the deal with. The Justice Department announced multiple indictments against Dr. Gail Luft, an Israeli-American co-director of a think tank who gained notoriety as the missing witness against Joe Biden into Joe Biden's corruption. The New York Post recently shared a video of Luft where he broke down allegations against Biden, and he claimed that he had been arrested to prevent him from testifying to the House Oversight Committee with damning evidence against the first family. Not long after that video was released, Luft himself has been charged by the Biden DOJ for engaging in serious schemes involving the Chinese and Iranians, along with high-ranking former government officials. The charges include numerous offenses relating to failing to register under the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, arms trafficking, Iranian sanctions, and making false statements to federal agents. Oh, interesting. So this dude gets the book thrown at him for the exact same crimes. In fact, probably far less than Hunter Biden, because this guy wasn't selling the office of the vice presidency. Here's the news, ladies and gentlemen. Gail Luft.
A fugitive, former Israeli army officer and co-director of a Maryland think tank is under federal indictment tonight. Gail Luft is charged with acting as an unregistered foreign agent, trafficking in arms, violating U.S. sanctions against Iran, and making false statements to federal agents. He says he was arrested in Cyprus to stop him from testifying before a congressional committee regarding bribery allegations against the Biden family. Luft makes those allegations in a video obtained exclusively by the New York Post.
I, who volunteered to inform the U.S. government about potential security breach and about compromising information about a man vying to be the next president, am now being hunted by the very same people whom I informed and may have to live on the run for the rest of my life.
Luft calls the charges against him completely political. We'll follow up with lawmakers on Capitol Hill on this investigation.
Okay, so check out this tweet from Gail Luft. Here's a dude on Twitter. I've been arrested in Cyprus. Politically motivated extradition request by the United States. The U.S. is claiming I'm an arms dealer. It would be funny if it weren't tragic. I have never been an arms dealer. The DOJ is trying to bury me to protect Joe, Hunter. Shall I name names? Gail Luft did name names, and we're going to go through his video, actually. Our incredible executive producer, ALX, broke down this 15-minute video that Gail Luft created detailing the Biden crimes. We're going to go into exactly why they want this man behind bars. But first, James Comer with his reaction, because it was James Comer who wanted Gail Luft to testify against the Bidens. Watch.
Company that Gail Luft was working for. who he was getting paid for, is the same company that the Bidens not only were getting paid for, they were also sharing office space with. So we definitely want to hear more about these allegations, and we want to see the notes from the FBI meeting. They sent 6 FBI agents, according to Gallup, to Brussels to interview him. I mean, obviously, they were concerned about something he had to say. There's some level of credibility there. So there are a lot of questions here, and it's just amazing the Department of Justice moves so quickly against some people. But then, Laura, the ultimate irony is one of the charges they levied against him was not being a registered foreign agent, which is the main thing that we've said the Bidens were all along, unregistered foreign agents.
So, of course, the Bidens were unregistered foreign agents. They were driving around, picking up bags of cash, bags of coke all over the world. FARA rules are very strict. This is how they got Paul Manafort, you might recall, the guy who was running Donald Trump's presidential campaign. They got him on FARA violations against Ukraine, of all places, saying that he did favors for the country of Ukraine, and then he got money for that, and then they went and confiscated his money, put the guy in prison. So they can go after anyone, anywhere, except for Hunter and Joe. Ron Johnson in the Senate is saying, this dog don't hunt. We need to give immunity to Gail Luft because he's the guy trying to put effectively a bow on the Biden crime schemes here, and you are trying to silence your whistleblower. Now, this is not the first guy that they've done this with, by the way. They have put major restrictions on the travel of Ukrainian oligarchs coming to America, banned various other people that would know the Biden schemes and the Biden international corruptions and cartelized American influence peddling. They've done this with the Department of Justice. This is why we don't live inside of a democracy. We live inside of a kleptocracy, an oligarchical system controlled by these people, and these people are goblins. They're monsters. Check this out. Ron Johnson saying, yo, this dog don't hunt.
When he heard that Joe Biden was going to be running for president, that alarmed him because he knew how compromised Joe Biden would be. So he met with 2 prosecutors from the Southern District of New York and 4 FBI agents in Brussels for 2 days in March of 2019. What's interesting about those individuals, one of the prosecutors from the Southern District of New York is the same prosecutor that prosecuted Patrick Ho, the money launderer that paid Hunter Biden $1 million to defend him. And in that trial, he prevented the name of Biden's from being brought into court. Also, one of the FBI agents was the same agent then that signed the subpoena from the Hunter Biden laptop. So, you know, what Dr. Luft has shown is the same financial transactions, the millions of dollars, the $100,000 per month retainer for Hunter, $65,000 for James Biden, paid by CEFC. He's got a wealth of information, but they never followed up on that meeting. Instead, they arrested him in Cyprus to silence him. They could have gone to Israel. He resides in Israel. We have extradition treaties, but they instead arrest him in Cyprus. Now, he's literally fleeing for his life right now. He's on the run. He's an important witness. He needs to be granted immunity to be able to testify and tell his story.
This is the most important question here, which is why are the Bidens not brought up on these charges? There's your most important smoking gun. Now, you could also argue that the literal smoking gun is the gun that Hunter Biden got illegally and then discarded in a dumpster next to a high school. That would also be a very, very clean way to lock up the Bidens for a long time. And we had Brett Pullman on, former federal prosecutor, telling us that dude, Hunter Biden should be in prison for the rest of his life based on just the charge alone. But this FARA violation is an obvious lock them up situation. They were taking massive bags of cash from all over the world. They were not registering as foreign agents. They were going directly to the intermediaries in these countries, these corrupt nations that, by the way, are enemies of America. It's one thing to go. It's one thing to go to Switzerland or to go to Liechtenstein or something and get a bag of cash. A totally different thing to go to China, which is trying to usurp American dominance in the world. Russia. We don't like Russia. Joe Biden's meeting with NATO today. We don't like Russia. Russia's mean. Dude, the Vladimir Putin, stooge of Moscow, the mayor of Moscow, the guy who is the Putin prop, effectively, Muppet of Moscow, gave Hunter Biden $3 million. We have no idea why. We have no idea why. Why did they give Hunter Biden $3 million? May Moscow ever given you $3 million? So this is just blatantly egregious. They're now locking up their political enemies. They're trying to do this to Trump, so I suppose it should come as no surprise to you. But this FARA violation is the real sticking point here, and they're being asked about it. We'll bring you that reporting in just a second. Check this out.
And perhaps the biggest question of all, why am I being indicted for FARA, for ghostwriting an innocuous article for which I received no payment, let alone from a foreign government, when the mother of all FARA cases, the Biden systemic influence peddling on behalf of foreign governments for which they raked millions, goes unpunished?
That's Gail Luft in his own words. And we're going to break down his whole video here in just a second, but I do want to get to the sticking point before we go into, it's a longer video. Again, our incredible executive producer has broken it all down into the best segments for you to see, to understand who this person is and why the Bidens must lock this person up. But I want to get onto this point because they are now prosecuting, they're now bringing charges against this man for the crimes of the Bidens. It is the reverse of what a Christian would teach, right? Like, the Christian principles is that Christ, who was pure and innocent, died for our sins and then took our sins and our shame upon him. This is the inverse of that, where the Bidens, who are guilty as sin, are projecting onto these other people, whether it be Donald Trump. He took documents. Yeah. Donald Trump's, he could potentially threaten national security. Got it. Right. Okay. You put Hunter Biden in charge of your secret document stash inside of your Chinese center for Joe Biden's secret stash of classified documents, otherwise known as the Penn Biden Center. Every crime that they accuse Donald Trump of, they are the ones who are guilty of it. Okay? Hillary Clinton did dirty deals with Russia in order to get information on Donald Trump to meddle with and rig our election in 2016. They accused Donald Trump of doing that exact same thing. Everything. It's bizarro world. You have to be able to live inside a bizarro world. And if you ever watch CNN, MSNBC, you'll realize this is all bizarro world stuff. So they're now taking this Gail Luft guy, and they're going to pin the sins of Hunter Biden and his father, Joe, on this man. That's what's going on here. Check out this wild tweet from Kanoa the Great, just one of the better investigators online as it pertains to this FARA violation. What a stunning twist. The Biden DOJ indicts Gail Luft, a Biden corruption whistleblower, for not registering as a foreign agent with the same Chinese energy company that was paying the Bidens millions. In a widely known text message from July 2017, Hunter explicitly demanded payment from CEFC executives. CEFC. Okay, a lot of acronyms thrown around here. They're trying to make it mysterious. CEFC, let's call it what it is. China Oil. This is just China Oil. This is the China Oil Company, okay? When you see CEFC, just note it's China Oil Company. I'm sitting here waiting for the call with my father. 10 days after Hunter's threat, invoking his father's involvement, CEFC wired $5.1 million into the bank accounts of the Biden family. Ye Jiaming, the chairman of China Oil, gifted Hunter Biden a 3.1 carat diamond valued at approximately $80,000. In an email dated August 2017, Hunter mentioned that Ye Jiaming had agreed to pay him $10 million a year for a 3-year guarantee, totaling $30 million solely for providing introductions. This is foreign lobbying. This is foreign influence peddling. This is the letter of the law when it comes to a FARA violation. Subsequently, in November 2017 email, Hunter Biden and CFC collaborated on plans to sell U.S. natural gas to China. Hunter wrote, I hope that you have received the information I sent regarding the LNG, natural liquefied gas, opportunities in the state of Louisiana. The proposal I have shared with you added benefit for the good of both the United States and China simultaneously. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be having the Attorney General for the state of Louisiana on the show later in the week. Trust me, we'll be asking about this. Why are they not charging the Bidens? Reports suggest that Joe Biden was set to receive 10% of the China energy deal, 10% held by H for the big guy. While Joe Biden Department of Justice accuses Gail Luft of FARA violations on behalf of China Energy, it's conveniently overlooks the far more egregious FARA violations committed by the Biden family, and you can see the diamond. Check it out. You can see here, the diamond. There's the diamond that they gave to Hunter Biden. You can see it on your screen. It's an $80,000 diamond. That's a massive diamond. You can check out what it looked like when China was carving up American energy reserves. There's a map here to show you what the oil they were planning on selling to our geopolitical enemy in order to make sure that China's military runs on American oil. And Joe Biden has made good on this promise by liquidating our strategic oil petroleum reserves and selling that, of course, to who? China. So they're being asked about this. A New York Post reporter says that Biden aides refused to comment on First Family FARA exposure after American charged for work with the same China firm. Interesting. The White House refused to comment on Tuesday on potential legal exposure for Joe Biden and his son Hunter and his brother James Biden after a U.S. citizen was criminally charged for working as an unregistered agent, same Chinese firm that paid the Biden family. What's the White House take on the FARA violations for the First Family as president? The Post asked White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan at the NATO summit in Lithuania, which is ongoing right now. I've not seen that and can't comment on it. Sure. Right. Wrong. Give me a break. Okay. If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, who took reporter questions after Sullivan, did not provide any additional comment or immediately respond. This dude is being charged with the crimes of the Bidens. Period. That's what's going on. This guy is being charged with the crimes of the Bidens. So we know, not only based on reporting and based on the Hunter Biden laptop, and we had the top researcher for the laptop on our show yesterday, that the Bidens were corrupt with China, but we also have, lucky for us, a special little voicemail rant from Hunter Biden in his own words, talking about his partnership with the spy chief of China in order to sell American natural gas. We have them in their own words describing their crimes. Here, this is how egregious it's gotten. Have a listen.
I have another New York Times reporter calling about my representation of literally, Dr. Patrick Ho, the spy chief of China, who started the company that my partner, who was worth $323 billion, founded. It is now missing. And I am receiving calls from the Southern District of New York, from the U.S. Attorney himself. My best friend in business, Devin, has named me as a witness without telling me in a criminal case, and my father without telling me.
Interesting. So why didn't you hear about this case? Why didn't you hear about any of this? Because they did wrap up, actually, some of the Biden crime family inside of this charging of Patrick Ho. Federal charges wrapped up. This little Chinese conglomerate, and then the entire China oil deal fell apart. Oh, well, because they were barred from talking about the Bidens during the trial. Check this out.
CFC Secretary General Dr. Patrick Ho, who paid Hunter Biden $1 million for God knows what, was not allowed to mention the word Biden before the jury when he was tried in New York in 2018. The very same prosecutor who is now after me, Daniel Reichenthal, told the judge at the time that mentioning the name Biden would, quote, add a political dimension to the case. And the judge agreed. Which means that if I'm ever brought before a U.S. court, I would not be allowed to utter the word Brussels or Biden. And the real context of my arrest, me being patient zero of the Biden family investigation, would be hidden from the jury. Let it sink in. I, who volunteered to inform the U.S. government about potential security breach and about compromising information about a man vying to be the next president, am now being hunted by the very same people whom I informed and may have to live on the run for the rest of my life.
So this guy, this is again Dr. Gail Luft, this is the guy who was charged with Hunter Biden's crimes, with being in the same business, with the same company. CEFC is the acronym. China Oil is what I call it. China Oil. That's what they're getting this guy on. It's the same company. They are going to pin the Biden crimes on this man.